Meeting of October 10th to order. I'll ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Mayor Weissman.
Not vote, just roll call.
Mayor Weissman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Landman.
Here.
Commissioner Holtzberg.
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Narodsky.
Here.
Commissioner Shelley. Here. Commissioner Weinberg.
Here.
Mr. Soroka.
Here.
Mr. Wolpen.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Let me ask Gladys Mizrahi to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Start it, we'll follow. Let's say it. I pledge
I
allegiance
pledge allegiance
to
to the flag
of
of the United States of America,
and to the republic
republic
for which it
stands
stands,
for.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I start with the agenda, I think that we really owe a huge thank you to our city manager, our police, and all of our employees that helped prepare for Hurricane Matthew. It was an enormous amount of work, and like always, they did it seamlessly, anticipating everything that could possibly be anticipated. So, Eric, I really want to thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the staff, we thank the commission for their support as well.
I also want to congratulate Eric on his grandchild, Mackenzie Rose. Mazel tov,
Thank you.
wonderful, congratulations. And if you haven't seen the pictures, you should. Okay. Let me ask, are there requests for deletions or emergency additions?
We have no changes tonight.
Okay. Our next order of business is the Employee Service Awards. I'm going to ask that the city manager present them.
Good evening. It's my pleasure at this time to recognize an employee that's been with the City of Aventura. And for their service with the City of Aventura, we have Jason Williams on achieving his 15th year as a police officer in the city.
Fist.
Next, we're presenting certificates of appointment to Arts and Public Places Advisory Board. You know, I'd like to say a big thank you for the people that turned in applications. We had an amazing number of applications and extremely qualified people, and I really want to thank you. The first appointment is Dr. Miles Cutler. Now I'm feeling them all in the morning. The next one is Adriana Lerner Adelson. Yes. Okay. Next meeting. Okay, the next item of business is our consent agenda, and I'm going to ask if any member of the commission would like to remove an item from the consent agenda.
Yes, I'd like to remove item H and put it to a vote, please.
Okay. Commissioner Narodsky wants to remove item H, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura calling upon federal and state elected officials to collaborate with local officials and first responders to prevent mass shootings and large-scale human loss of life and suffering from mass shootings in America by limiting the availability and use of military-grade, high-capacity magazine assault weapons to law enforcement agencies, providing for an effective date. Can I have a motion to move that item?
Motion.
To accept the resolution, David? Can I have made by Commissioner Shelley,
Yeah,
seconded?
I'm sorry to interrupt. You could vote to have a motion to approve the balance of the consent agenda and then proceed to next handle the removed item.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the balance of the consent agenda?
Motion.
Made by Commissioner Shelley, seconded by Commissioner Holtzberg. Now you want me to ask for a motion to move it,
Now
to approve it?
the clerk could ask for the roll call vote on the motion that's just been made. And then we would proceed to the pulled resolution. We don't usually have it happen, so that's why we haven't had this come up before. But the roll call should be called on the balance of the consent agenda adoption motion, which has just been made and seconded.
Okay. Would the clerk please?
Commissioner Holtzberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks, Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landman,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. So
Thank you,
now
Mayor.
am I asking for a motion to approve item H on
Correct,
the consent
exactly.
agenda?
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve item H in the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Weinberg, seconded by Vice Mayor Landman. Are there any questions or comments, Commissioner Narodsky?
No, we did have some discussion at the workshop, and I also appreciate some of the work that was done behind the scenes. I'm going to be against it, so I wanted to go on an up or down vote.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments or questions about this item?
Eric,
Commissioner Shelley?
Eric, could you explain this a little bit more? Because I'd like to understand what it is that Commissioner Narodsky is voting against. I'd like his thoughts.
Yeah, I'd like to know one.
Yeah.
So this was a resolution that was originally adopted by the City of Miami Beach. We discussed it at our workshop meeting, and it's basically asking the federal government and the state government to do several things. One is to ask Congress to reinstate the federal assault weapons ban. That's one. Two, it's asking the Florida legislature to enact a state ban on assault weapons. And then the third item, it's asking the Florida legislature to lift the presumption presently in place that does not allow the local governments to regulate assault weapons. So those are the three items that are contained in the resolution.
And what is it that we changed during the workshop? Can the attorney please address that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. What the commission changed from the Miami Beach template at the workshop was we added the last whereas clause that says, whereas the city commission hereby provides that lawful handguns are not included within the scope of the action requested by this resolution.
In other words, it's only assault rifles, et cetera.
That's correct.
That was the change.
Any, Commissioner Weinberg?
Yeah, can I ask if our police chief can tell us how the police department feels about this resolution?
I'm not sure.
It's really a policy
Policy.
issue for the commission. I don't know if we want to put the police chief on the spot, dealing with that, but.
Well,
Yeah, yes, you want to speak, Chief?
I'm curious as to how law enforcement in general feels about this resolution, but I guess if they don't have a position, then I won't hear it.
I think that law enforcement in general would have many different positions depending upon where they were located and the part of the country and the density. There was a robust discussion on this at our workshop, if everyone remembers, and we did make some alterations to it. If no one else has any comments, David, do I ask the public?
Just call the vote, right?
What?
So you can just call the vote at that
I
time.
don't have to have public.
Oh, not necessary, but you can if you wanted to.
Well, just in the interest of transparency, is there anyone in the public that would like to comment on this? Anyone from the NRA? Okay, then I'm going to ask the clerk to do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Holtzberg,
Yeah, I'm reading it. I'm making up my mind.
Again, for clarification, can our attorney please go over the points, the
Right.
germane points?
The
please?
resolution just requests that Congress impose a ban against assault weapons. Also asks that the state legislature impose a ban against assault weapons, and alternatively asks that at least the state legislature allow cities to regulate assault weapons. Those are the three requests of the resolution.
Okay, any other, this in no way impacts our police department?
It does not. It does not curtail law enforcement expertise in any way.
Okay, then I'm going to ask again for the roll call.
Can I just respond to that?
Yes,
When you say it doesn't impact our police department?
in their ability to have the weapons that they need.
Correct, but it may impact them in terms of what they're up against when they respond to a call.
Well, this resolution simply asks Congress to take action and asks the state legislature to take action. So far, they've heard similar calls for action, but have done zero.
Okay, can we now have the vote?
Commissioner Holtzberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky,
No.
Commissioner Shelley, Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landman,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes,
The motion passes.
thank you. We have no quasi-judicial public hearings tonight. We have no ordinances for first reading. We have no ordinances for second public hearing. We have no resolutions for public hearing. I'm going to ask the commission if they have any reports or items to report on. Commissioner Weinberg?
Just want to say that Friday is the Miami-Dade County League of Cities Best Practices Symposium all day at the Hilton in downtown Miami.
Thank you. Commissioner Shelley?
Yeah, David, could you give us a little bit of an update on what's happening on the workforce housing situation in the county?
Yes, thank you. On October 13th, the county's Board of County Commissioners Committee will be considering the revised ordinance. And as proposed, the revised ordinance would enable cities such as the city of Aventura to adopt resolutions that would show that the workforce housing, which gives developers various density bonuses, would not be feasible in a particular city, and the county would need to follow and defer to that city finding. So Susan Trevarthen from my firm is continuing to work closely on this and to monitor the activities, and we'll give you a further update once we see what happens with the county committee.
So the language that the commission saw at the workshop, that's the language that's being reviewed right now at that meeting?
It's a little bit different. It's been forwarded, but it preserves the city's goal of being able to show that workforce housing, mandatory workforce housing, is not practical or feasible within this city.
Okay, so now that we would have the ability to take action on our own and not follow the guidelines of the workforce housing, if so be?
That's correct. We'd be able to show that we don't need to utilize the county's mandatory procedures.
Thank you.
Would we have to have our own plan?
We would have to adopt a resolution making various findings. Part of the findings could have a study done to show that it's backed up. It's something that could either be done in-house or with outside assistance to our excellent community development department.
So let me just ask you, we can absolutely, without any of the penalties that we've read about, we can opt out.
That's correct, if the ordinance is adopted as proposed.
Okay, and Susan's very comfortable with it.
Exactly, correct. That's
And she's
correct.
going to be at the commission meeting.
That's correct. She'll be at that committee meeting, and then she'll be able to tell us what happens. I forgot the name of the county's committee.
It got moved from the first committee to
another
a different committee.
Correct, right.
And is what it is.
It is what it is.
And everyone's free to attend.
And when is it again?
October
October
13th.
Mhm.
Right, time flies, it's already almost here.
Well, the hurricane kind of took out
Right.
a week, I think. And Commissioner, Vice Mayor Landman?
We have for Halloween coming up on October 29th, we have our Halloween Monster Mash movie night, an event for families and kids, and we'll be showing a movie starting 7 p.m. So it'll be at Founders Park on the 29th. Hope families will come and enjoy a safe and fun Halloween event.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then I'm going to ask if anyone in the public has any comments. All right, we have someone who walked in who's also appointed to our Arts in Public Places Advisory Committee, and I would like Marina Wexler to come down. Thank you. Okay, seeing as there's no other business, I'm going to ask for a motion. Oh, okay, Commissioner Shelley.
Just one other thing, David, could you give us an update on the Privé lawsuit? Is that possible to do at this
That would
meeting?
have to be an attorney-client session. If you'd like to have a further session,
I see.
then at this point, I'm advising that we'll be scheduling a further session on the Privé litigation.
And the hearing is
the
still
Clark
scheduled for
litigation.
November?
I believe so, although it's not certain yet whether it will remain at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any limit to the time that they can postpone?
As of now, it's set up for November 14th, but it's not known whether, it's going to be held at that time. As soon as we know further, we will advise.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Holtzberg.
Second.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Landman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Commission workshop, October 20th at 9 a.m.